Get to the playbook of success. Holly McPeak, you are a 3-time Olympian, an NCAA champion, but more importantly, you are truly a mentor, which is why I wanted you on the playbook, because you help. It's one thing to be a great athlete, but I like the athletes that give back when they're done. Why is it so important? You could sit at home and relax. You could just be a normal...
No, I can't. I would be bored.
But there's so many things you could be doing.
Yeah.
You spend the majority of your time really helping others, especially kids.
Yeah, well, for one, I feel like I learned so much through sports. I feel like anybody can learn, the lessons that we learned through sports, and I was the beneficiary of discipline and hard work and, role models through sports. So I want to share what I learned. I was able to travel the world, play a sport that I love, get my education paid for. Now, even just yesterday, I got news that we got a girl who wanted to go to UCLA into her dream school. And that for me is so fulfilling. And it's just one of the things that we do at our volleyball club, Elite Beach Volleyball Club in Manhattan Beach. It's just fun, not only making them better and teaching them life lessons, but helping them get into school and get a great education.
And it's so important today. Most people don't know that 90% of the corporate executives that are women in America, which is not represented in a big enough way, played college sports.
Yeah.
And so there is a direct correlation between what we learn on the field to how successful we are in the corporate world off the field. And now I think it's more important even because I think as freelancers and entrepreneurs become the majority of our workforce, it really is representative to me of being an athlete where you have a more individual concern for yourself, but still have to have all of this teamwork and camaraderie and especially discipline. Where do you see those characteristics that you learned being put into play off the court today?
Well, it's interesting. I feel like a lot of the lessons I learned in terms of from my sports background, I have bosses who are kind of like coaches, and they're not always your favorite coach, but you got to figure out how to get on the court and play for them. And I always say, look, even if you don't like your coach, figure out a way to work with them because you need to. You need to be able to work with teammates. If you have a goal, you can't do it by yourself. If you're an athlete, you have to do it as a team. And that happens a lot in the workplace. So I feel like the challenges I face, the teamwork, and then just those life lessons when you have to get on the same page with everybody to work towards that common goal. And I think that takes place in business every day.
And dealing with no and rejection is a big part of success. We've had other Olympians on here in all different sports that are prototypical athletes. When you look at them, basketball player, football player. When you're of the stature and built that you are, you're not the first pick when you're young to be on the volleyball team.
No.
Let alone one of the world's best, if not the world's best volleyball player. What kind of no's or challenges or doubts did you face, and how did you overcome those?
Well, I've had a lot of no's. I continue to hear no's, and I don't listen to those no's. I don't let those get in the way. I'm just trying to find a way, to whether it's a job that I want that they haven't picked me for or whatever that is. But when I was being recruited to out of high school to college, they said if you're under, I think they said 5'9", there's no way a coach is going to look at you. I was like, what? I was only from 5'6 3/4. I still am. So I literally
Which is a great height, by the way.
Right, which is a good height. But
my height.
but on all my recruiting questionnaires, I had 5'9". I cannot be 5'9".
Right.
But all I wanted to do is get them in the gym to look at me, and I knew that they would want me on their team. And it ended up working. I got recruited to all the best schools, and after in college, I didn't have any limitations. I felt like I was the best player. They couldn't really say, "Oh, she's too short." I was able to get on the court and earn that spot. But after that, internationally, it's a big girls' game, and I knew politically they're not going to really want to give me that chance. So I went to where I knew I had the best chance, was beach volleyball, where people can't keep me off the court. You can enter a tournament. There's no limitations. Whoever wins, wins. So it's not, here's our starting lineup, that's it. And that allowed me to come up with a great training program, a great plan to move up the ranks and see what the best girls are doing, learn from them, use it, and beat them. So I didn't have any limitations in my sport, which was great.
And you actually not only branded yourself, but branded that sport. In fact, you and your husband have branded that sport, which is really important because I think when people think of volleyball today, Olympic volleyball, collegiate volleyball, the favorite, highest branded part of that sport is beach volleyball.
For sure.
You were absolutely the innovator and the brand behind that. What types of things did you use in order to brand something that, was really just a game that people played during the summer?
It is, but it's also it's a lifestyle. I mean, we spend our days on the beach. I see a lot of kids moving out to California to play beach volleyball because it's the lifestyle. I mean, you train on the beach. There's no sport greater in my mind. It's demanding physically. Right now in the sport, there's not much money to be made. So the Olympics are a pull for some people. But I think it's a culture. It sells itself. We've got the world's greatest athletes. A lot of them are very bright, all college graduates, and they're playing in almost nothing. It's a very sexy sport, and who doesn't want to be at the beach hanging out in that type of environment?
And it's almost a timeless sport. I know you came out of retirement. We look at the older quarterbacks in the NFL, and I was amazed at Tom Brady. But yet, if you look at beach volleyball, you were, I think, over 40 or 40 years old when you came out of retirement to play again, didn't you?
I don't really remember coming out of retirement.
Oh.
I mean, no, I did not come out of retirement. I retired and I was done.
That was it. So you weren't playing over 40 at all?
Not that I remember.
Oh, okay. My bad.
That's okay. I mean, I play every Thursday. I play every Thursday with a bunch of
And what age did you retire?
I just remember the year. It was...
yeah, sorry.
No, it's not because of that. I just remember it was 2009. I just knew it was not my primary focus anymore. I'm one of those athletes, I'm all in. My husband told me my whole career, make sure you have something else on the side, that you're going to want to do after. And I'm like, I can't. I mean, I'm all in now to what I'm doing because I want to be the best. I don't want to be like 1 foot over here because to me, the kind of athlete I am, that's hard for me.
And your husband, being a world famous agent, has hands, feet, and toenails into 18 different things. So it must be quite a great combination. Looking at the sport moving forward, because money's a big issue.
Yeah.
We've been involved in the AVP, in the training side of it. Where do you see the money part of the sport growing in the future?
Well, I hope at the professional level because the grassroots is the best it's ever been. The juniors playing the sport, I mean, I'm in that junior development program, owning a club. I train future collegiate players, future Olympians. I train a bunch of them. So the business side and the development side, that's really been a good area of growth in terms of a business. I would really love to see some sponsorship dollars come in and pay those pros off because they train really hard and it's a beautiful sport. And like I said, that feeder system from the grassroots is really strong. So the sport has potential to be fantastic, but we need those sponsors.
And running the facilities, I see great, as an entrepreneur, growth within basketball and volleyball with different facilities and extraordinary business that's growing and growing. There's limited space, and it seems to be quite lucrative in all sports. Making the transition from playing to managing people.
Yeah.
There's different types of teamwork. In fact, my dad always told me if you don't like someone, wish upon them. Well, think you're complimenting them, wish upon them, say, hey, I hope your business grows so much you end up with a lot of employees and tons of overhead.
Yeah.
That's a different type of teamwork and leadership than playing beach volleyball.
For sure.
How did you transition into that position of running a business and dealing with the financial side and the overhead and the taxes and workmen stuff?
Well, we're learning. All of us are learning together, and we all have our strengths. But the nice thing is that we're not afraid to get into it and deal with parents when we have to, deal with kids if we have to. We're not afraid to get into it because it's teamwork. As a professional beach volleyball player, I was my own boss. I hired my coach, I hired my trainer, I planned my travel. I was in charge of my life, and managing everything about it. So I'm used to managing. There wasn't some organization or somebody overseeing anything for me. It was all me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the money to pay anybody at that point. But no, so I learned a lot about how to run things, and communication being super important. I over communicate. We have 8 coaches. And it's so important to know someone's going to be there every day, or if they're sick, or, all those small things. And then communicating with all our kids and our athletes and our moms and our dads. And it's really important to communicate. And I feel like honesty is key, and being upfront about everything from the beginning. But we're learning. We're in year 7.
Even more challenging than learning to run a business and utilizing all the new aspects of your leadership, I find, is managing kids.
Yeah.
And we're the same age, you and I graduated college at the same time. I find there's a difference in work ethic and discipline and perspective. And I was curious, what differences do you see today that are more challenging for the kids? But also, I see some great, not just potential wise, I see some great attributes in kids today that our generation just didn't have. I'd love to see your perspective on kind of the strengths and weaknesses of the changes you see in kids.
Yeah, it's definitely a different generation. I mean, we worked for everything we had. I feel like they have a lot more opportunities than we had. The opportunities.
You see more opportunity for women at least too?
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
With the addition of beach volleyball into the NCAA ranks, that creates, 10 more opportunities for each school that picks up beach volleyball, in addition to the 12 full rides for the indoor volleyball team. So lots more opportunities. I wouldn't want to be a teenager growing up at this point. There's a lot of pressure. The social media, everybody talks about it, but it's a thing. So I think it's really important to be positive, and really encourage a positive environment. No bullying, no talking down to people, nothing on social media about other kids in our program. I mean, we're very clear that we will not accept that. So you either need to stay positive, be a team player, be a club player, and support everybody. That's really important to us. So a positive environment in the day. We want somewhere safe where they can go, get better, and leave and feel good about it.
And on the coaching side,
Yeah.
I know this as a business owner myself, and coming from coaches that grabbed my face mask and shook my head and swore at me, which is absolutely not acceptable today.
Yeah.
But even yelling.
Yeah.
I personally think to motivate someone, there's different ways to stimulate their attention.
Yeah.
And I know sitting on the sidelines of 6-year-old flag football, just to yell at kids to get into a huddle, some parents get offended, like, why are you raising your voice?
Yeah.
Do those type of things take place in the volleyball sphere as well? Is there still...
There's crazy coaches, there's crazy parents. But I feel
crazy
like...
parents are good.
Yeah. But the crazy coaches are still there. A lot of... There's safe sport, which we all have to take now, which kind of teaches coaches the things that we should do and shouldn't do. Very obvious things. But I think for the most part, knowing how to motivate young kids. And you don't have to scream. Some people you can be hard on, some people you can't, but not demeaning. That's in finding ways to motivate different kids. And I could have a court of 10 girls on my, and 8 of them need this certain kind of coaching, and the other 2 need something else. So you're constantly juggling or trying to figure out. And there's some people you can't figure out. So you just kind of do your thing and, hope you can get through. But
what are some of the tools that because as a leader, this is great coaching for me.
Yeah.
But, I hear that all the time on this podcast, right? You have to coach people differently.
Yeah.
It's much more customized, and we're really looking to what is it experientially that you're looking for, and how can I fulfill that?
Yeah.
But what tools do you use? Because you're a great leader and a great champion. Do you use to figure out kids? Because being a parent, I have trouble with my own 4, but yet when I coach kids, I sit there and I think that I'm doing them well by being a little bit harder on this one, then all of a sudden they come in and tell me I hurt their feelings.
Yeah, it's hard.
Is there any tricks that you know of that kind of explore that?
It's funny because being a pro beach volleyball player, there's only you and your partner on the court. So I feel like I kind of learned these lessons trying to figure out how to make my partner better and how to coach them when I was playing with them and how to be a good partner. So I feel like I kind of learned that as an athlete, but now it's one, knowing what the kids' goals are. That's important. Hey, do you want to be the best? If you can, if you want to, this is what you need to focus on. And if you want me to hold you accountable, I will push you at practice. If you just want to have fun and try and get better, and then I can do that as well. But it's important to know the kids' goals, because a lot of them are there to have fun, to socialize. But then you've got those serious athletes who do want that feedback. Some of them come and say, I want more feedback, which is great. But you don't want to overcoach them either. So it's finding a balance, and I think it's a challenge. I think that's one of the hardest parts of coaching.
And do you provide different programs at different levels? I know in a variety of different sports for my own children that, there's these travel teams, and then there's the kind of hustle and have fun and learn teams, etc. Do you provide all the different levels of training, or do you allow them to intermesh?
Well, it's interesting. We have 80 young women, and some are beginners and some are going to college to play. So we have a wide variety. A lot of the girls come and they love the exercise. You're running around in the sand 6 hours a week, and it's great. And they're learning the lessons of sports, the discipline, the hard work, working with new girls. Every drill we rotate, and you have to work with someone else. Those are skills that they're going to take with them forever. So we have all the skills within our club, and usually we separate our courts according to skill and goals and all that. So yeah, we definitely have to work at that, and we're constantly shifting because so-and-so wants to be on a higher court, and are they good enough, and all these things. It's hard.
There's so many different lessons that you learn as a great athlete, let alone as a championship athlete, let alone as one of the world's best, if not the world's best athlete, which is pretty competitive no matter what sport it is and what sex you are. It's incredible. And life is about lessons, and this playbook is about lessons. What would be the number one lesson that you've learned through, whether it's high school, college, professional, or coaching and being an entrepreneur? Is there one kind of golden rule of Hollywood that goes that everyone can learn here on the playbook?
Yeah, gosh, that's a tough question. I mean, for me,
I
know, right. For me, it was never take no for an answer. If you want something bad enough, never take no for an answer. Find a way. But it's also having a plan and being mindful about how you want to achieve your goals. It's not like, I'm just going to get to the Olympics. There's a lot of hard work in having a plan and sticking to it. And if, sometimes a wrench is thrown in your plan, being able to adjust and shifting. I had to adjust when I was a collegiate athlete. I had to transfer after my junior year. That was difficult, but I made it into a great situation, was able to win a national championship at UCLA. So I think having a plan, working hard, I learned in high school, it was dedication, determination, domination, those three things. And we were the best volleyball program in the country. So those types of systematic plans and put into effect and not taking no for an answer, those worked for me.
And still do work.
I hope so.
Remember the 3Ds, remember this D. This is Dave Meltzer with Holly McPeak here on Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.